Those 7 nations have in common they support and they fund terrorism. If this were a Muslim ban, why isn't the most populated Muslim nation in our entire world on this list?
A University of Michigan student steps up to the MIC and tells Liz Wheeler that Ilhan Omar is not an anti-Semite. The room gasps, but Wheeler doesn't flinch. She simply asks him one question about the BDS movement. Watch how quickly his confidence starts to fade. Then she takes him through Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. By the end, he's arguing about the travel ban. Let's get into it.
Hi, my name is Courage. I go to the University of Michigan, and I slightly disagree with your point on Ilhan Omar.
Please tell me. I want to hear this.
Okay.
What did I say in my speech? I said, if you see a problem with my tweet, prove me wrong. Show me. Please show me.
Okay. So I hope no one gasps after I say this, but I do not think that Ilhan Omar is an anti-Semite. Okay? One moment.
Let him tell us why, and then we'll tell him why he's wrong.
The claim is that Ilhan Omar is not an anti-Semite. That gets the reaction you'd expect from this crowd. Liz Wheeler could have played into it, but instead, she calms the room and gives him the floor. Let him explain, and then we'll look at why she disagrees. What follows is a pivot to Donald Trump and the Republican Jewish coalition. Listen for the quote about not wanting their money, then ask yourself, is an argument about Trump really a defense of Omar?
So under that same logic, I would consider Trump to be an anti-Semite because he told the Republican Jewish coalition, he suggested that, I know why you guys aren't going to vote for me. I don't want your money. It's on recording. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if the right wants to be nuanced about anti-Semitism or bigotry in general, they should also hold Trump to the standard that Ilhan Omar is. Because they're...
There it is. Asked about Ilhan Omar, he answers with Donald Trump. A quote about the Republican Jewish coalition is offered as if it settles the question. But watch what he never does. He never addresses the tweets he came to the microphone to defend. Wheeler gives him the point anyway. Bigotry is wrong in both parties, she says. Agreed. Then she turns to the BDS movement, and that's where this stops being a debate about Trump.
Bigotry is wrong. Bigotry is wrong no matter what party it comes from. I agree with you. Let me ask you this question.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and ask me.
Describe to me what the BDS movement is.
The BDS movement is a movement to boycott Israel. I personally support the state of Israel. I don't agree with their movement. I just think that a lot of people in that movement.
But what is it? What is the movement?
It's the boycott, divestment, and sanction.
Right.
And look at the shape of that answer. She asks what BDS is, but he starts by explaining what he personally thinks about Israel. Wheeler has to step in just to get the acronym out of him: boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Then she asks why, and he gets there himself. He says they don't agree with the existence of Israel. He may not realize it yet, but has just handed her the argument.
Why do they want to boycott, divest, and sanction Israel?
Because they don't agree with the state of Israel. Either they don't.
They don't agree with what part?
Huh?
What part do they not agree with?
Its existence.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So
why do they not agree with Israel's existence?
There are various reasons why people don't agree with Israel's existence.
I'm talking about the BDS movement. Why does the BDS movement? Yeah.
I'm not sure as to what their...
And there's the wall.
And there's the wall. He came to the microphone to correct Liz Wheeler on anti-Semitism. She asks one follow-up about the movement he just described, and the answer is, I'm not sure what their official position is. That's not a gotcha. That's the whole problem in one sentence. He has a position on Ilhan Omar, a position on Trump, and a position on Israel. He just doesn't have the facts behind any of them. Wheeler does, and she's about to lay them out.
is.
So that's
I
the
would
critical
suggest-
part. So I'm not trying to slam you down here. I'm just helping you
Okay.
think critically about this, because the BDS movement, you're correct, is boycott, divest, and sanction of Israel because they don't agree with Israel's existence or right to defend herself. But you have to ask the question, why do they not agree with Israel's right to defend herself? Every other country in the world, if they are being attacked, has a sovereign right to defend their own people. So that question,
agree.
why, is your answer. When you have to answer that question, why? Why do they want to boycott, divest, and sanction Israel out of existence? And there's only one reason for that. The reason for that is because Israel is the Jewish state of Israel. It is because the people that live there, because it is the Jewish state. And when you hold Jewish people to different standards, when Ilhan Omar does not support sanctions on Venezuela, who is oppressing their people and starving their people, does not want sanctions on Venezuela, but does want sanctions on Israel, when Ilhan Omar doesn't want sanctions on Saudi Arabia or Iran, or other Middle Eastern nations who throw gay people off the tops of buildings, but does want sanctions on Israel for defending her people against terror attacks. And the reason for the double standard is because the state of Israel is Jewish and the other nations aren't. That is anti-Semitism. It is because they are Jewish, and that is what makes it wrong.
That is how you take an argument apart. She doesn't call him names. She builds the case step by step. BDS wants Israel gone. Every other nation on earth gets to defend itself when attacked. So why not this one? Then come the examples. No sanctions push on Venezuela, where people are starving. Nothing on Saudi Arabia or Iran, but sanctions on Israel for defending itself against terror attacks. One country being held to a different standard. And the room hears exactly why.
I wasn't finished making my point.
You can follow up. Go ahead.
The point.
No, it's okay. I have plenty of it,
The point
guys.
was, in terms of bigotry.
Yes.
This president is a president who wanted to ban people of an entire religion in his campaign. I have this on video. All of you.
No, wait a second.
I have this.
That's
on
totally
video.
fine. I'm happy to address
what I'm
this,
saying,
but you
if
can
the
finish
right
your sentence
wants to be
first.
serious about bigotry,
Okay.
they should condemn it on all sides. When Trump introduced this plan,
Yes.
the Republican Party stood by him. If they want to talk about anti-Semitism from the left, why can't we talk about when it comes from the right or any type of bigotry that
Why
comes
can't
from
we
the
talk
right?
about it both?
Listen to that applause. He gets another follow-up, and it's the same move as before. Instead of defending the BDS position he couldn't explain, he takes another turn around Donald Trump. And notice the shift in his own words. He starts with a campaign statement, then treats it like actual policy. Those are two different things, and Wheeler is about to explain exactly why. Her response is the sharpest 30 seconds of the entire night.
Let me address the
Well,
Muslim ban that you're talking
I'm
about.
saying I
Let me address the Muslim ban, and I'll tell you why it's different, because it's important to understand. I want to tell you why it's different. So the Supreme Court last year upheld President Trump's right to this immigration policy. The left calls it a Muslim ban, but that's a mischaracterization of it, because there are, I believe, 7 Muslim majority nations whose immigration is being restricted into our country. And what do those 7 Muslim nations have in common? They're Muslim, right? What else do they have in common? Terrorism.
I'm not talking about his travel ban. I'm talking about the
Let me finish
ban
what I'm
that
saying.
he originally proposed.
You're talking about the travel ban. It is one and the same. It's just mischaracterized by the left. Those 7 nations have in common, they support and they fund terrorism. If this were a Muslim ban, why isn't the most populated Muslim nation in our entire world on this list?
I'm not talking about I agree with his travel ban. I'm talking about the ban that he proposed while he was running for president.
It's the same thing. It was just mischaracterized. That I understand what he said. He said, I want to propose a complete and utter moratorium on the immigration of Muslims into our nation. But then when he proposed the plan, it was based on terrorism, not based on a religion.
6 minutes, 1 student, 1 microphone, and a position that didn't survive a follow-up question. He came in with 2 arguments. Ilhan Omar isn't an anti-Semite, and Trump is worse anyway. He left unable to explain what the BDS movement actually believes and unable to separate a campaign statement from the policy the Supreme Court upheld. Liz Wheeler didn't shout him down. She simply asked what these things meant and waited for the answers. That's the whole point. It works because many of these arguments are repeated without being fully examined. Do you think Wheeler dismantled his case, or did the student make a fair point about holding both sides to the same standard? Drop your thoughts in the comments.